Hello friends, today I am so excited because we are going to be going over how to publish a book on KDP in 2022. So let's just jump straight into this. I am going to go ahead and start with my paperback. So I am going to click on this paperback button. Great, so let's get started. You want to read everything on here to make sure you are choosing the right settings for you. So some settings I use may not be the same ones for you. So make sure you read it. And these are for me in my book, and I am in the US. So I do want my book in English, but if your book is in a different language, or if you're doing different editions for languages, you will change that here. The book title is Save the Sky. And I do not do subtitles. I highly recommend you research this, but you cannot change your subtitles. So even if you think it might be cool to do a really long subtitle with all these keywords in it to rank you better in search, that is going to never be able to be changed. So your book will always have that as a subtitle. So I do encourage you to really think about that before you publish it. Since that is not my book's official subtitle, I don't have a subtitle, I am personally going to leave that blank. Now, series details. Mine is a part of the series, so I'm going to click Add. And it is an existing series. And it is a part of my Save the Earth. It is main content. And yes, it already is registering that it's book number 8 in the series. So I do want to say this is correct. It is Save the Sky, and it is book 8 in the Save the Earth series. Okay, it has been updated. Woo! Now the edition number is not applicable to this book, so I'm going to skip that. So the author name, that is me. And then you can add contributors. So I am also the illustrator, so I can go ahead and put myself in here for the illustrator as well. If you have other contributors that you are either required to add or you would like to add, you may do so here. So now we are to the fun part of book descriptions. What I am going to do is grab another book description of mine, paste it in here, and work from that. So let me go grab one. Okay, so I just added something in here. So let me go ahead and change this for my book. So since I use a series, I kind of like them all to be relatively the same from book to book. Obviously, if you're not in a series, you can start this from scratch, or even if you are in a series, you can start this from scratch. But I am going to go ahead and add in some new description. And if you need help working on your description, you can go over on patreon.com/BethanyStull, where we have workshops on your book descriptions, and we can talk more about that over there. Okay, so publishing rights. I own the copyright and hold necessary publishing rights. If you want to file for an official copyright in the US, go over to patreon.com/BethanyStull, where I have a step-by-step tutorial for that. Now we will add 7 keywords to describe the book. These are terms that you think customers are going to be searching. So what are people going to be searching to find my book? What are they typing into Amazon? That is what you put here. So I can do children's books on dark skies and things of that sort. So anything that I think people will search for my book, I have to put in here. So I will think on this more and I will add these later, but for now I'm going to move forward. Now we get to choose 2 browse categories. You can add up to 10, but you cannot do that until your book has published. If you want to see how to add 10 categories, you can click on the video that should be popping up on the screen now, and that will show you how to do that. But again, that is after you publish. When you are choosing categories now, it is only 2. So I am going to browse through here really quickly and find 2 categories that I think best suit my children's book. Okay, so I have picked my 2, and does this book contain anything that is adult content? No. Save and continue. Woohoo! We are on the second page of 3, so this process isn't hard. It is just making sure you are reading and ensuring that everything is done properly. When it comes to an ISBN, you can get an ISBN if you are in the US from Bowker. That is the official source for us to buy them. You can use a free ISBN, but I don't recommend it. I think it's much more beneficial to purchase an ISBN, and I talk about why over on Patreon. So I am going to use my own ISBN, and I'm going to grab that number that I've purchased from Bowker and go ahead and put that in here. Okay, so I've got my ISBN. I'm just going to paste that there, and my imprint is my publishing house name, which is Bethany Saul. So for reasons that are very long to explain, I decided to make my publishing house name my own name, and it was just the easiest for me to go ahead and do that in terms of back-end stuff like taxes and everything of that sort. So my publishing house business license name is my name. Okay, that may be different for you. So if you have a company name, that is the company name. So I know it looks like I just wrote my own name, but that's actually my company name as well. Okay, publication date will be live on Amazon, and now this is really important. I know so many authors will click on the wrong things here and then not realize why their book is getting errors later. So make sure you're choosing all the right options. I am going to be choosing premium color interior with white paper. This is the only option for children's books under 100 pages. I want to choose a different size, so I need to go make sure I'm choosing the right one. 8.5 by 8.5. Bleed or no bleed. I am going to have a bleed, which means my color is going to the very ends of the page. So here, this is not a bleed because there's white space. Mine is going to go to the very, very end. And what would I like my cover finish to be? I have been doing my Save the Earth series in glossy, so I'm going to continue that and click glossy. Now I am going to upload my book. So I am going to upload my paperback manuscript. This is going to be a PDF of only the interior of your book. So your cover should not be in this file. So I'm going to go ahead and upload that. If you are wondering how to format your book, I have a full InDesign series on how to format your book, as well as a template you can download if you would like to on my Patreon page. So I am going to upload my interior, and this only takes a second. Okay, and now I'm going to go ahead and upload a cover that I already have. Going to upload that cover file and add the cover in here. And I also have a video on how I created my cover, so feel free to go check that out as well. Okay, so now these are both saved and processing, and I am going to launch the previewer because you do have to do that before you move on, and it's really good to make sure your book looks okay because everybody makes mistakes. I've made mistakes. It happens all the time, and sometimes you don't see them until this step, and you also want to make sure that your file's uploaded properly. Sometimes you may export things wrong, or you may think you've uploaded it properly, and maybe you misclicked a setting on something. I've done it before, so it's always really good just to check this step, see if any errors come up, or see if you've made any mistakes, because I promise you, just like editing, there's always something there, and if there's not anything there, give yourself a pat on the back because that's impressive. Okay, so now we have the book and everything looks great. So I will say that the previewer does show your cover a little blurry. So this is normal for KDP's previewer. So make sure that if you are seeing this, you do get a proof just to make sure everything is fine. But I already see an issue in my cover right here. There's a little blue line next to that H. And there it is. So let me go into the title and find out where that guy is. Right there. Boop. Okay. So I need to update the cover. See, I told you there's always something. All right, let's check the rest. Beautiful. That is right there too. So you know what? I'm gonna grab a notepad and write this down. So I need to update my cover and title page. Okay. This all looks great. And I'm just going to click through here and make sure everything looks good. I love it. Okay. I did not update my About the Author page from my last book. Oh, whoops. And I did not add this at all. I did not edit these. Okay, so that is good. Let me look over here. KDP is not giving me any errors at all. So I'm going to go ahead and just exit this print previewer. I'm not going to approve it because I need to make changes. So I am really quickly going to edit all of those and then re-upload. So again, be very careful when you do this step. Make sure everything's in order because like me, who has over 15 books published right now, I am still making mistakes, and that's okay. So let me fix those few things and I will see you in just a second. Okay, so I have my new version uploaded, and as you can see, that is gone there. Everything else looks great. She's cut off perfectly at the fold mark. Let's make sure that one's gone there. I updated that. Okay, looks good. And I'm just going to quickly flip through again. Okay, great. It looks perfect. I also updated this end page and I'm going to approve it because I know it is all good to go now without any sort of errors. That being said, while I think it is perfect, I still recommend you guys order a proof and double check it again, because I will tell you, there are times that I have ordered the proof and then seen even more issues. So always quality check multiple times at every single step. So now that I'm good to go, it's telling me how much I am going to pay for printing across all of these different platforms. And I am going to save and continue. Yay, last page! I'm getting so excited. So no matter how many times I do this, doing it for the first time is always so exciting. So territories, where do you hold distribution rights? I hold it in all territories because it is created for me. I created it myself and I own every portion of this book. Now this may be different for you depending on contracts you're in or what have you, but I am going to choose all territories because I know that's where I have my rights. Now my primary marketplace is going to be Amazon.com. This is where I know a majority of my book sales are going to be coming from. If you are not thinking that the majority of your sales are coming from Amazon.com and you want to pick a different one, you can. I would maybe recommend this if you're choosing different languages or anything of that sort, or if you're writing in a different area and you know it's going to sell way better in a certain sub-genre of Amazon. So whichever meets your needs best, go ahead and click that. I am going to put it on a list price and I am also going to click on expanded distribution because I'd like to do that. Now, this is not for everybody, so please make sure you understand that if you are checking expanded distribution here, this means you cannot have a paperback book with Ingram Spark because they are their own expanded distribution. If you'd like to also have your paperback with Ingram Spark, you cannot do expanded distribution, okay? So make sure you have that set before you go ahead and jump into this. Now, I do want to say you can change this over time. However, that process can be incredibly grueling as you have to get Amazon and Ingram Spark or what other companies you may be transferring to work together, and that's not always perfectly well. I have transferred from Ingram Spark to KDP, and it took me working with Ingram Spark for over a year to transfer my titles, where my titles were not available for expanded distribution because they were in the process of changing where they were being distributed from. So please make sure this is your final decision for now, because it is somewhat difficult if you'd like to change, but it can be done. I've done it, so it's not an end-all be-all sort of thing. Once you are done, you may publish. Be aware, if you press this gold button, that is it. Your book is published. What I would recommend is at this point, save it as a draft. Click right here and order yourself a printed proof. This is, look at the cover. Okay, so this is going to be my printed proof. I want it to come from Amazon.com since I'm in the US, and I am going to go ahead and grab a proof of that. So once that proof comes, I'm going to look at it. As long as everything is good, there's no hidden errors that my editor has missed, there's no issues I've missed in my illustrations, all the bleeds still look great, and everything is as it should be, I will then come back in here and click on publish your paperback book. I typically do this about 72 hours before the day I tell everybody when my book is publishing. That way it has enough time to load and be live on Amazon. If I click this the day I tell everybody it's going to publish, it is not going to be live right as soon as I click this. It does take some processing time. Also, if you have any errors that may have been missed at this point, if you click publish, you may not publish right away, because if there is an error that you have missed at any point, Amazon will tell you what that is and will tell you how to fix that. So give yourself a little bit of time if you are aiming for a very specific day, and always work ahead of time. So that is it. That's how you publish a paperback book.